All right, back on the Domino's post-game report. Adam Cavalier alongside Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Clowney. Mike, a frustrating one. Falling 2 overtimes. Did a lot of things right with more than 450 yards of offense, but special teams at the end of the day probably undoes things today.
Yeah, I think that was the thing that was, frustrating from the very beginning. When you look at this football game, I think when I looked at film during the week, I thought we were, as teams, pretty evenly matched. The place I thought that we really had an advantage was in the kicking game, and to see them kind of really probably, when you go back and look at it, probably win that phase of the game, I think was disappointing. That's why we got a kicker in there who's frustrated, but he's a good kicker. He's a good kid, and he's going to recover from it. But we dropped the ball at the beginning on the kickoff, wound up with the ball on the 5, and then I think we let them squirt. We immediately let them return the punt because we don't get a guy tackled, and we give up a kickoff return. Just stuff that I really thought like that phase of the game we were going to be head and heels above them, but it didn't pan out that way today. That's why you have to play the games again.
The offense in the running game, sublime. More than 300 yards rushing. Hit some gash plays. What'd you see out of that phase?
I think number one, they did a good job of taking care of the football. That's always the first stat offensively I look at was did we take care of the ball. But I thought, our backs did a good job of grinding some things out. I thought our offensive line did a good job of creating gaps for them to run. It was good watching our guys on the sideline just kind of interact with each other. The running backs with the offensive line, good job, man. It was there, I'll get it next time. And so just to kind of watch them, kind of a little bit of persistence there to continue to be able to, ground the ball out was good.
Braxton Westfield doing Braxton Westfield things today. Nearly 100 yards receiving. He gets the touchdown that ties things in regulation. What did you see out of your NFL prospect?
Braxton did a good job. He did a great, really good. Braxton started to develop and come into the type leader that we wanted him to be. Just kind of a couple times within the game, I'm trying to feel like we probably ought to try to create a couple things for him, but I thought he did a good job of handling, us running the ball again, and then, him being able to get his touches. It's crazy that he, you watch the game, you see him catch the ball, you don't know that he still comes out with that type of production, but that's what good players do.
For a second straight week, you face a bowling ball of a back, Trey Stewart, all over the place. Felt like he made some plays that other running backs in this league aren't going to make, but no doubt probably tackling another point of emphasis for your team.
We talked about that. Really, it became, for the most part, I thought we've done a pretty good job, but it really became an issue for us Wednesday. We just kind of, for whatever reason, start falling off of guys and not finishing tackles. And, unfortunately, what happens in practice kind of shows up in the game at points and times. And there's a couple times there that we've got him hemmed up, and we just – we don't keep our feet moving. We just start kind of trying to drag him down, and the big thing that we got to do is roll our hips, run our feet, and get him out of there. And the next thing we got to do is get help. A couple guys, we got sealed out of gaps. We weren't getting linebackers over the top to where we need to be able to fit the stretch. Just things that we've got to be able to do.
The road does not get any easier from here. Likely, barring any upsets, back-to-back weeks against nationally ranked opponents at Lenore-Ryan and then home against Newberry. What do you have to do from this one to make some noise against the cream of the crop?
That's what I told him in the locker room. The plan doesn't change. Our plan the whole time was to make sure that we get better every week. And that's still the plan. And there's still a lot of stuff that we've got to get cleaned up. We still, have some miscues defensively that we've got to get cleaned up. And that turns into focus, and that turns into persistence. And, that's just, making sure that we demand it every single time. There's just a couple things here that we, like I said, we still, we made a lot of mistakes still today.
All right, Mike Clowney, we'll talk to you next week in Hickory.
Looking forward to it.
That's Carson-Newman head football coach Mike Clowney.